There are over 150 English Quran translations out there. So if you want to understand the meaning of an ayah, which one should you choose? Would it even matter that much? The answer is yes, certainly. The differences can be quite big because not all Quran translations are the same or serve the same purpose, and most importantly, not all translations are correct and accurate. And so, this lesson will, insha'Allah, guide you through your choice and which ones you should avoid. And at the end, I'll highlight one of the best translations in my opinion, which you probably haven't heard of before. So watch till the end. So, the available English translations today fall into three categories: simple English translations, archaic translations, and translations with tafsir. So, the first type, simple English translations, which use common everyday English to convey the main message of each ayah. It is the most direct way to understand a certain ayah. One of the most famous translations in this category is Sahih International, which is the translation that I mainly use in translating the meaning of the ayat in my lessons. It is a well-revised, scholarly, reviewed, and widely accepted translation, which I definitely recommend. What is good about this translation is that it adds a little bit of context, which is in many cases enough to orientate the reader to help them understand what is going on without providing tafsir. Like in this example here, it defines the one being spoken to so that you can get over the ambiguity of the English language and help the reader follow. However, if you like an even more direct translation without filling gaps for you or inserting any notes in the text, then the translation of The Clear Quran by Talal-i-Tani can be a very good choice for that, though not as accurate in my opinion, but it is still a very good translation. The ones to avoid in that category are the translations of Ahmad Riza Khan and Ahmad Ali, since they deliberately give inaccurate translations with the purpose of pushing certain ideologies and impose them on the ayat. For example, both of these translations gave a different meaning from what the actual meaning of the ayah is, in order to impose a certain idea and lead the ayah to their desired direction, while the ayah itself doesn't contain or carry any of these meanings. So they impose a certain idea or certain interpretation or ta'wil of the ayah on the direct meaning of the ayat. Next is the archaic translations, which, as their name suggests, use older forms of English, which is meant to give the reader that feeling that this text is unique and not like any other text that they read. It is also meant to give you like more of a formal taste. These translations are characterized by words and phrases that are no longer common in modern speech, like thee, thou, lo, verily, and so on, which could be difficult for contemporary and younger readers. If you like this style of translation, then you should stick to the translation of Pictol, which is a really good translation by a British Muslim scholar, and it is also reviewed by Al-Azhar, and it is praised for its accuracy. However, there are two famous ones that you should definitely avoid, which are: one, the translation of Yusuf Ali, which contains many mistakes and several aqidah and fiqh inaccuracies. It is also a very controversial translation, to say the least. If you want to see a more in-depth analysis at this quite famous translation and why it should be avoided, let me know in the comments. Then I'll include it in a separate lesson, insha'Allah. Another translation to be avoided in that category is that of Muhammad Asad and that of Arthur Arbery, which is a translation by a non-Muslim Orientalist with their understanding of the Quran. The third category is translations that contain the meaning as well as some elements of tafsir inserted within the text. These translations are typically known to be considerably longer than regular translations because of the explanatory notes and the extra explanation. And the most famous one in that category is that of Hilali and Khan, which is a quite popular translation known for its extended notes. It is also known to favor content over eloquence or conciseness, so it might not read as smoothly as other translations. So these are the best translations of each category in my opinion. There could certainly be other good ones that I didn't mention, so don't hesitate to mention your favorite translation in the comments if I didn't mention them in this list. However, Recently, there was a new translation that would kind of fall under its own category because of how unique it is. It is literally a translation not like any other one that I had read before, and you're probably hearing about it for the first time now. It is called Bridges Translation. So what is particularly unique about this translation? Well, basically, it is a translation that you can use to ponder over the Quran even without reading it in Arabic. And this is achieved by three key elements. Number one, this translation comes the closest to mimicking the feel of the Arabic language by finding very smart solutions to get over the limitations of English language, like how it deals with number. For example, the verb قل, singular, قولا, dual, قولوا, plural, are all translated in English into say, which means that there is definitely some lost meaning here. But in this translation, they try to convey this lost meaning using superscript symbols that tell you when the imperative addresses singular, dual, or plural. Moreover, they didn't translate or transform literary devices used in the Quran, and they kept them intact like the original text. Like, for example, using past tense to talk about future inevitable events. Typically, such instances are translated into the future tense, while ignoring the Arabic literary device of using past to talk about inevitable future events. But in this translation, it is conveyed in the past form like Arabic, so it does to an extent succeed in letting non-Arabic speakers experience the ayah and feel the inevitability of using past tense for this future action, similar to Arabic, with a difference, of course. Secondly, they incorporated the 10 qira'at in the translation, and this feature, to my knowledge, is only found in this translation. When there is an ayah that has a different qira'ah that affects the meaning, it will be indicated as a footnote, telling you the translation of that other qira'ah and what its translation is, giving the reader a very comprehensive look at what the ayah means. For example, this ayah reads as الَّذِينَ هُمْ عِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ, but according to another qira'ah, the qira'ah of Nafi', الَّذِينَ هُمْ عِنْدَ الرَّحْمَنِ. Here the translation conveyed both meanings, and your understanding of the ayah is therefore both of these variations at the same time, that the angels are servants of Allah and they are also with Him. So this is a very interesting and a unique way to look at the meaning of the ayat. Finally, this translation offers some really interesting notes that help you ponder the Quran. They give hints and lines of thoughts that set you to thinking and pondering over Allah's choice of words, like this one here. وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. Unlike other translations, the word atu is translated into bring, not give, but it also follows up with a note on that Allah never actually uses the Arabic equivalent to give, which is a'tu, but always uses atu, to bring. Why do you think that is the case? Can you try and ponder over this choice and write down what you think in the comments? So this translation really gives you all the tools you need as a non-Arabic speaker to be able to ponder over the Quran and think about the wisdom of the choices of Allah without reading it in Arabic. So these are the recommended choices based on what kind of translation it is. I'll leave the links for all of these translations in the comments, so make sure to check them out if you want to have a look at them yourself. Finally, if you really want to get the full experience and really appreciate the beauty of Allah's words in their pure form, then learn Arabic to read the original Quran. It is absolutely worth the effort. And don't worry, it is an easy journey, inshallah, which you can start right here with this playlist. And also, don't forget to check out these books that go perfectly with this free course. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, inshallah.